Welcome to Inside the Pantry, the podcast where we're opening the doors to education, catering, family and business. I'm Luke Consiglio, and today we've got a fabulous guest, Paul Andrews, CEO of Family Business United, a top 50 global family enterprise advisor, one of the nicest guys I know, truly. Guys, give it up to Paul. Paul, thanks for coming.
Thanks, Luke.
So before we start, just a very quick herbal question, because I believe that you can tell a lot by somebody what they have in their kitchen cupboards, their shopping basket. So tell me 3 things that you would have inside your pantry at home, 3 staple must-haves.
Pasta, basil, and garlic.
Nice. So pasta's a king dish for you.
I love pasta, yeah.
So is that going to be ranking up there later on?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's probably a good time to say then. So we've got Anthony, chef in the background there, guys, who today is actually going to be cooking you one of the pasta dishes that we have on our school menu.
Lucky, wasn't it?
Which is very lucky, absolutely. Where to start? Basically, we'd like to know more about you sort of growing up, and tell us more about like the Andrews household.
I guess I grew up in a pretty traditional family, slightly older than you are. So you go back 30, 40 years to growing up in a traditional household. Sunday lunch was very much meat and 2 veg. And my father, who was ran his own business with my mum, but they transport business, haulage business. It was very traditional. So I think my dad ever ate any pasta, had a pizza. It was very much a traditional household. So growing up, food was pretty simple, but lots of salads, lots of fresh fruit and vegetables, lots of stews, kind of traditional. Any kind of take on meat and 2 veg in different formats would be the normal.
So I guess quite a step culturally nowadays where pizza and pasta are the norm, I would say, really.
Yeah, I think you go back to when I was growing up, I think we had a Chinese takeaway at the end of the road, and that was kind of like, that was really kind of good. That was already in the news. But no fish and chips on a Friday, all the traditional things you'd expect.
I still do that now.
Yeah.
I love a fish and chip on a Friday, but definitely more crest. So my children, obviously generations later, their sort of staples are the pizza, the pasta. They love those sort of foods, but it's just changed completely. And I've had the same conversation with my parents actually about growing up. They remember like the first McDonald's opening and that being like, wow, that is a big thing. And now it's just the norm. So
yeah, you look at the high street now. You got sushi, you got Vietnamese, Chinese, Indian. You can get anything you want, kind of.
But would you sushi? Would you
love sushi?
Oh, nice.
Certain sushi, but love sushi.
Oh, nice. So tell me about your parents who are growing up, and what I'd like to know is more about what got you onto sort of this journey. So like CEO of sort of Family Business United. So you've obviously got a big passion for family businesses, but obviously I guess business in its entirety, and you champion that has been really important to us. So there must be something that drove you in that direction.
Well, I guess I went to university. I was the first person in my family to go to university. But when I was at uni, I kind of realized where I'd come from. I guess we all do. But my parents had their own business, and it wasn't until I started thinking about it that I realized that actually my cousin worked for my mum and dad and my aunt. And also my dad was quite entrepreneurial. So they started off as a coal business. Obviously, central heating started, coal went down. So he converted the fleet of lorries into kind of removal trucks. Did household moves, office moves. During the evenings, they would take the fresh produce, so strawberries and raspberries from Hampshire, up to Covent Garden. So from a very early age, we were kind of exposed to fruit and veg, stacking lorries and taking lorries up to Covent Garden and stuff. But that entrepreneurial spirit stuck.
Yeah.
And for me, I trained as an accountant, qualified, spent 10 years at EY, and then 5 years at Grant Thornton. And there I did some research with the firm into family businesses around the world and relationships. And I kind of all went full circle, and I loved the story. So the story behind a family business is what drives me. What gets me, it's the nugget, it's their purpose, their drive, their passion. So yeah, it's kind of why I created FBU back in 2011. So 14 years later, we're still going. Great membership, great family businesses, and great stories. So the paperwork and the behind the scenes stuff was always what interested me. And that's kind of what I started doing with my accountancy, but that was just a great way to learn about business and see lots of different businesses. But your story is fantastic. So you and your mum working about a counter and sort of the making sandwiches together on the high street, and now look where you've come to. And that story, I think that story and stories like yours really deserve to be given an audience and amplified, because they're massive. And what you're doing for Uxbridge and the community around here is fantastic. So you should be really proud of what you've achieved.
Appreciate you for that.
I feel we're missing an opportunity here. There's some really good things going on in the kitchen.
Oh, no. We're going to get to it. Paul's an incredibly fussy eater, okay? So where we started what we were going to prepare on the menu is not where we finish. So Anthony has been working his magic to make sure that it's something Paul's going to eat.
I need to say, I do love food. I just love the food that I love.
Yes,
So
absolutely. Yeah.
I am fussy. I'm not going to say I'm not fussy, but I do love food. I don't want you to think I don't like eating.
Yes. What Paul doesn't know is I spoke to Linda this week, his wife, who told me he's definitely fussy.
Yes, you definitely say that.
At any point, was there someone who really influenced food for you? Could be good or bad. You mentioned already your sort of parents like meat and two-faced sort of people, but you said that you really love food. So you've gone from maybe really plain in terms of your taste of food growing up, and at some point there's got to have been an influence where you are, I guess, trying new things.
Yeah, I guess it all started. I guess the fussiness started at school. So I shouldn't really say this to you, given what you do, but I hated school dinners. Gristly mince, liver, cold cabbage, pink custard, sponge with grated kind of coconut on top. Was all stuff that just like made my stomach churn. And if you wanted to go and play, I was about 5 and 6. If you wanted to go and play, you had to eat your dinner. And if you ate your dinner and didn't enjoy it, you'd be sick. So I was sick quite a lot. So my memories of school food probably tainted quite a lot of my tastes growing up. But I was lucky enough I got to take school dinners after that. So cheese and Marmite sandwiches, little football crazy crisps that you won't even know about, and club biscuits. So school lunches then became the norm. And so I got to enjoy my school time. Going forward, jump forward, yeah, we had simple food at home, but started to be a little bit exploratory. So pizzas made it onto the agenda, or the menu at least probably once a month at home from time to time. We started to push boundaries, but then I took a year off after graduating from university. So I went to Asia, went to Thailand, Hong Kong, Bali, then off to Australia. So started to just explore sort of the Thai food. So I don't do mince, and I don't really do chili, cumin, coriander, some spicy stuff. But actually the Thai food with kind of garlic, lemongrass, ginger has kind of started the journey. And I still eat lots of ginger, lots of garlic today. So that was probably the start of the food journey. A single guy growing up, I probably had quite a simple diet because I was working long hours, and I loved my job. Even before setting up FBU, I loved what I did. I've always loved work. So I'd work hard, and then just food would kind of be squeezed in at the end of the day. So it was quite a lot of bowls of pasta and simple stuff. And then I got married, and I guess when you marry a tennis pro, life kind of changes.
Absolutely.
It changed quite a lot, actually, especially when it came to food. So Linda's really into sort of health conscious eating, vegetables, fruit, salads, fish. So our diet changed quite radically overnight. She introduced me to lots of new foods. So I'd never eaten asparagus before I met Linda. Avocados I wouldn't eat because I thought they were pears, and they are pears, but they're obviously not pears. So that whole education thing started. So yeah, we cook a lot together now. We love to cook. Food's quite important in terms of life now.
So obviously you started by saying you shouldn't say this to us because obviously what we do as a job, but this is the whole point of this. So the conversation we're trying to have and really to highlight is how far school meals have come. Yeah, because they really have. Like, we are different world from where we were even when I was at school and when my parents were at school, so on and so forth. This is completely different. And this is really what we're trying to champion as a business and as a person, to highlight not even just the great work the Pantry does, but the great work that our industry does every single day. So most of us companies employ nutritionists now. We have dedicated chefs making sure that the menus are what children want to eat. But there is that, sort of to rewind on that, there is that education piece about children knowing and not, I guess, being afraid of trying new food.
Well, we went to one of your schools last year, and the food was amazing. The salad bar was just like a rainbow of colours and looked really healthy and enticing. So it has. I know it's changed. It's changed a lot.
But that's sort of scarred you. So you mentioned salad bars. So we have salad bars. We have sort of vegetables on there that potentially children don't see, don't know, would never try. And part of our ethos and what we have this discussion all the time is they'll definitely never try if it's not on the plate. Yeah, so give them the option. So you'll be surprised how many times we have beetroot as a special on there, and the children are like, what is this? But then we track it and we see that children are trying it, and they could be people that children now going home saying to their parents, I tried beetroot today, that's really nice. And if it's never put in front of them, they will never try it. And like you have gone through, having quite a, I guess, sort of basic or sort of strict diet growing up, you didn't have access to some of these things. Whereas hopefully the children of today, it will just be the norm. I need to ask you about mince. You say you don't eat mince.
No, and nothing of any texture related to mince. So sausages, beef burgers, not mince. Mince is definitely a no-go.
Fine. And where did that start from?
That was school. That was just cold, chewy, gristly mince texture.
Yeah.
And it's literally stayed with me. It drives everybody mad. Dinner party, if you want to do a rustic lasagna or something, I just don't do it. I don't eat steak either for the same reason. So, but I can eat roast beef, which is a bit weird. I can eat roast beef, but if there's beef left over on Monday, my mum used to mince it and turn it into a cottage pie. I could eat the roast, but I couldn't eat coffee.
And that's all driven from school meals when you're in primary school. So
memory.
not to give away your age, but we're talking now sort of decades where you haven't eaten a particular food because you had a bad experience at school, and you will never eat that food probably for the rest of your life because of potentially one bad meal you had when you were in primary school.
Yeah, but I turn it around and I use chicken to make lasagna, and I'll put tuna in a pasta bake now. So I'll eat the same sort of foods, but not with mince.
Yeah, and this is what our industry is trying to champion: how important the cooks and the chefs and the kitchen assistants are in our schools and every school across the country, because you're having an actual impact on people for the rest of their life if this is done badly. And we are lobbying government at the moment because we want more funding. We want the food meals to be absolutely the best they can for children, and this is the reason. And again, you said earlier about probably shouldn't say this to you because of the job you do. No, this is exactly what you should be saying, because we're trying to make this as good and nutritious as possible for children. And we spoke before about what's the dream for us. And yes, I have a big business now and all these things are fabulous, but the bigger dream is to look at my grandchildren one day and say, you have great meals at school, and we were a part of that, and they're well funded and they're well educated and so on and so forth. Not having more people who go through their whole life now being, I guess, avoiding a particular food because they had one bad meal at primary school.
Yeah, it wasn't one bad meal.
Yeah.
It was the same old bad everywhere. Yeah, you had it.
I hope not bad meals.
I think what you're doing is really important, but also what you do in terms of variety on the menu. There was no variety when we grew up, and my generation grew up at school. It was either you eat it or you don't eat it. It was as simple as that. Whereas you're giving more choice, more variety, and introducing more things. As an aside, I love beetroot. Always loved beetroot.
Good.
We used to grow beetroot at home. So my mum and dad grew beetroot, so we bought them. We had our own beetroot, and I love beetroot.
So you had access to beetroot. It's something you saw, something you see every day, so you like it. So
we grew them. Yeah, we grew them.
There we go. So you're not afraid of it. You know it. It's part of your life. So you've eaten that for the rest of your life. And this is what the whole education bit around what we're doing here today and trying to put into schools is. It's really important for children to have access to the food that we want them to eat.
Yeah, I think education is really important for people like me. And I guess I'm quite unique in that I don't eat lots of things. But actually, had I been encouraged to try more stuff, and had it been accepted that I didn't like something and I didn't have to eat it, but I could try something else, then I think that might have changed the way I am or was with food. I think I've gone full circle now. What you asked earlier on about people that inspired me through food, and I guess I did, believe it or not, I did a home economics GCSE or GCE in those days. So I did a cookery course. I did a cookery O-level. And Mrs. Farrow was a traditional cookery teacher. I still remember her today, and she encouraged us to make things, so fish pies, making roux sauces and stuff. So she started me on that journey of being able to cook, and I loved it. I just loved to cook things that I like to eat and not cook things that I don't like. So that was kind of inspirational. She really helped me on that journey in terms of what we do and how we cook now.
So we need to do a special thank you to Miss Farrow, because without her, you may still just be eating boiled vegetables.
Boiled vegetables wouldn't have been on the list. Might have been cheese on toast or malt on toast or something. But
Marmite sandwiches for your whole life.
But I think you just need to be encouraged. I think food is one of those things that if you're discouraged at a young age, it's going to take a lot to convince you otherwise. So I kind of think what you're doing is inspirational, and kind of what had it happened generations ago. And I know people have tried over the years and failed, but kids just need to be encouraged to know, one, where food comes from. And it doesn't come from the shelves of the local supermarket, but it comes from a farm or a food producer. I think that the provenance of food and where it's come from is really important so people understand it. And actually you can like things or not like things, but there's lots of choice.
Yeah. But and I mentioned earlier, this is exactly the point of what we're trying to sort of prove here. So particularly fussy because you have bad experience, but even at that point, you've met a teacher, Miss Farrow, which we have chefs in our schools and there's teachers within schools and whatever it might be, who has shown you how it can be better, how it can be different. And she has then sent you on a journey of trying new foods, whatever it might be. How important just that one person can be if they encourage you the right way or open the door to the right food. It's really, I guess, sort of changed your life, because otherwise it'd been very plain for a long time.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Farrow.
Yeah.
We need more Miss Farrows. If there's anyone looking for a job, we need more Miss Farrows. So tell me about Linda. So obviously fussy eater, that's fine. You travelled, so that sort of opened your eyes a little bit, and you said about maybe some more different types of vegetables and spices and herbs that you started to try. And then you met Linda, who tennis pro, obviously diet is important to her. And I guess you started eating fish and stuff at that point.
I'd always eat fish, but it was usually wrapped in batter on a Friday with a portion of chips. But
finger shaped.
Yeah, with that little out of a packet. Linda loves fish. She'd have fish every day of the week. So we have fish probably twice a week. Anything from salmon and sea bass, all sorts of different fish that I probably wouldn't have tried before because I wouldn't have known about them. But yeah, more vegetables, more salads, kind of more healthy eating. She loves to barbecue. It's a slight role reversal in our house. She's the barbecue queen. I stand in the kitchen and make the salads and all the sides and clear up. But I love that role because she just loves the barbecue. She went to Australia on holiday 5 years on the bounce, and she loved the outdoor life and barbecuing and brought that back. So it works for us really well. But yeah, she loves to barbecue.
I've got to ask, what's on a barbecue for Paul? You don't eat burgers, you don't eat sausage.
I make kebabs, marinate some chicken, soy sauce, ginger, lime, sort of stick on the barbecue. Pork, slow cooked pork, prawns if we're feeling adventurous.
Nice.
So yeah, lamb cutlets. So I love barbecue asparagus, sweet corn. So we barbecue quite a lot of stuff, but I just steer clear of what I class as that traditional British barbecue fodder that I just don't like.
So being a tennis pro, did she see food, or did she see food as just sort of fuel? You know what I mean? Like, or does she actually enjoy what she sort of
Like, she loves food. She's not one of these people that just eats food to give her the energy. She loves food. And she really takes care of where she sources it. So she'll always support British where she can. She shops every Saturday and Wednesday at the local food market around the corner. She supports the fishmonger. We've got a butcher in Woking near where we live. That's a third or fourth generation family business. So we try and support local businesses. It's quite difficult buying avocados that aren't local, but there are things that we still do buy which probably don't add to the green footprint we should have. But no, she buys very much sourced locally, fresh, and we cook from fresh. Pretty much every day of the week.
And just to sort of give anyone who's watching a window into Linda being a tennis pro, I caught up with Paul the weekend on the phone quickly, where Linda was in the car on speaker, and she delightfully told me how she given Paul the runaround for an hour, where he won hardly any points, definitely and no sets, and she sounded absolutely fine.
Yes, she was.
And Paul, you didn't.
No, I know. It's a great runaround. I went home and had a really, really big lunch.
That's being married to a tennis pro. That's what that will do for you. Yeah. So, and what about now? So obviously, what are you instilling into sort of your family and sort of food wise? You trying to encourage them more than?
Yeah, we're slightly older parents. We've got one daughter who's just turned 17, but we went through the whole. We wanted to be healthy. We wanted to learn about food from an early age. So I used to make. Gina Ford was massive and tried to regulate things and what you did, but we just decided our friends over the road had a daughter at the same time, so we would make food. So I would make bolognese sauce without the mince, but put all sorts of vegetables in it and then blix it down, cauliflower cheese and all sorts of stuff. So right from an early age, Sophie's had freshly made food. We really wanted to cook proper food for her. She lived on vegetables. Even now she'll eat a stuffed pepper. She eats cucumber sticks all the time. She's 17, but she loves fresh fruit and vegetable. She makes herself a salad. She can cook pasta. So we've tried to bring the food journey up, and she's been on our food journey with us. So hopefully she has a balanced diet and she enjoys food, and she understands the components of what a good diet looks like.
But growing up, did you ever have sort of a friends round in terms of like food? Did you celebrate that? And then also, I suppose going back to sort of your childhood, were you ever a house that had friends over, or did you go to your friends' houses and think, oh my goodness, they got pizza? Like,
that's a really good question. I guess growing up, I flipped to where we are today. Sophie's generation, sleepovers, friends over, breakfast, pancakes, all that type of stuff. Growing up, we didn't do that. That wasn't kind of the norm when I was growing up. In terms of you went to birthday parties, and that was probably it. We had big family get-togethers at Christmas and Easter. So my dad's sister had 3 kids, so quite big family get-togethers. There were 2 of us, me and my brother, grandparents. So Christmas Day, Boxing Day was always fun. Traditional kind of Christmas dinner, and Christmas dinner is still probably one of my favorite meals of the year. I love the whole thing, sprouts, turkey, the whole thing. I just it's family for me, and it's kind of the core of what family is all about, eating together and enjoying it. And we do lots of buffet type things because there were quite a lot of us. I remember the Queen's Jubilee in 1977. My dad had a big warehouse, so we had the whole street round. Street kind of party. It was supposed to be out in the yard, but sadly it rained, so it was moved into the store, and we had tables and bunting everywhere, but a massive feast for the whole street, which was really good fun. But again, traditional kind of like party food and buffet type party food. Fast forward to today, and Sophie's friends come round. And Sophie's best friend has got 3 stepbrothers, so we cook for them quite a lot, lots of barbecues, lots of kind of like rustic dinners, sort of chastity pork and noodles and all that type of stuff. But yeah, that's good. Food's really important to her. It's really important to us just to have friends around and cook and share and enjoy cooking and sharing it with them. So it can be rustic, or it could be a little bit more formal. We're certainly not Michelin star chefs, but we love to cook and we love to eat and we love to have friends around.
You mentioned then that lovely memory of like your dad and having sort of that celebration for the Jubilee. And again, like what a key core memory that you've got there, which is all about sort of the community and bits like this. So like sometimes you forget, I guess, like the night outs that you might have with friends and stuff, and there's these core memories that stick. And you also mentioned sort of Christmas dinner being one of your favorite, which is absolutely up there for me, top of my list. I got asked recently about listing my sort of top 10 favorite foods, or whatever it might be. And as I was writing the list, every single one of them wasn't actually particularly based on the food. It was actually based on the experience, the feeling I had with it. So Christmas dinner was one of mine. Another one of mine was my dad's Maltese. So I've got some family in Malta, and there was ravioli because that's what they make. When you used to go to Malta, my dad's aunties and stuff would just make you raviolis. It was just the meal they had, and I've grown up always loving that. But really, the connection is emotional, even rather than. And you mentioned about it's not Michelin star food. I believe that's not what the drive is here. I think having that emotional connection and back to trying to create those experiences, which is what we are really trying to champion sort of as a business, is positive experiences for children around food. It hasn't got to be the best food in the world, but it can just be with their friends, with their families, whatever it might be, creates that core key memory, that feeling for the rest of their life that they will just sort of like embrace and try new foods and then pass on to their next generation. And they'll get even better at trying food. And this is sort of the big drive we're doing. So
but it helps education as well, doesn't it? Because if you've got a full tummy and you're not hungry, you're going to learn more because it's going to stick in because you're actually going to be your body's ready to learn. So food and learning go hand in hand for me. So food's really important. And Christmas dinners, Christmas goodness was just fabulous. But I love Boxing Day probably more than I love Christmas Day because I love cold turkey and pickles, all that type of stuff. So there's lots of food memories that make me smile and kind of stuck with me over the years.
I've got a lot of Christmas dinner questions, right? So this is big in my family, Christmas dinner, right? So who cooks a Christmas dinner?
We do it together.
Nice. Who's in charge of the turkey?
I am.
Oh my goodness, right. I want a photo this year of the turkey. Okay. And then the next day, always my tradition is I really overcook on Christmas dinner, Christmas Day, because I want the leftovers, because the next day I make pots of turkey curry, which I freeze down. And that is one of my dinners for the next several weeks. I think actually 20 something portions it ended up being this year. But you mentioned the following day you have
it's cold meat, jack potatoes, salad, pickles, cheese.
Again, so not the most glamorous of foods, but
really simple. But it's about having friends around and sitting there and having the smell of the potatoes coming out of the oven, and then just really nice fresh food on the table.
So is roast dinner staple sort of on a Sunday, just generally?
Yeah, we have a Sunday roast pretty much every Sunday, unless we're away. Pork, lamb, chicken. It's very rarely beef, but usually pork, lamb, or chicken.
Again, the theme here: the beef is not in the Andrews menu.
No, I'm not a massive beef fan, but so the roast dinner, I just think it's really important. And even during the week, we try and sit down together and eat, because I think it's really important that you make an effort.
What to for you guys?
That looks amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's all green.
Absolutely. There's a tomato pasta that we have on our school's menu. Luke, I'll leave that for you to serve up. I need to go into details with.
Cool. So as Anthony just mentioned, the highlight of the podcast is going to be food that we are making within schools, but it's definitely the food that people can be eating at home and trying with their children. Just because it's a school meal, we're trying to take away that stigma of, oh my goodness, it's a school meal, I wouldn't eat that outside, because that is really not the world that we operate in anymore.
Sorry, am I not allowed to stop?
No, you carry on eating. Paul's eating. So this is a tomato pasta, which Paul's already highlighted, an absolute favorite for him. So within that, we have various vegetables. So I think it's 7 vegetables, Anthony. It's in a moment. So there's the courgettes, there's the peppers. We'll do a recipe so people can share, which are blitzed into the tomato sauce. So we're sneaking that into the children. There's also some schools now they give the option. So it's not just about blending it, sneaking it in. Some of the schools we say, do you want us to leave it chunky and diced? Because your schools might want to really encourage them seeing the vegetables. So the priority is them getting it into them, trying foods that when you say to a child, there's onions in that. I don't eat onions. Oh, there's onions in that. All the way up to maybe them getting a bit older, trying different textures, knowing that it's in there. And what are the 7 veggies that you put in today?
Tell me afterwards.
Probably a good idea, but there's actually nothing in there that Paul doesn't like.
Cool. He says that now.
Well, he hasn't given you the full list of what he doesn't like at the moment.
Actually. This smells amazing.
No. You won't know there's anything.
It is amazing. You can tell me what's in it now because I actually like.
You forgot some cheese?
Yeah, it was.
I'll use sprinkle on. I'll use your hand.
2 different kind of onions, 2 different peppers.
This is really nice.
This food isn't the food that I had growing up in school.
I'm not creeping either. This is delicious. It's really delicious.
Well, I hope so, because otherwise that would be the end of Paul's podcast. So, Paul, turkey. So you mentioned Christmas dinner's massive for you in your house. But what about Christmas dinner growing up? Is that a key memory from growing up? Is why you're sort of celebrating so much now?
Yeah, it's really important to me, and it's always been important to, I guess, my family growing up. It's interesting. My mum had a Rayburn, so she would get up at like 3 or 4 in the morning to put the turkey in and cook it for 7 or 8 hours. And at the time, that was the norm, and it was delicious. Don't get me wrong, it was delicious, and we loved it. But a few years ago, when we started cooking turkeys on our own for Christmas dinner, and you read the instructions, you put the thermometer and it says cook for 2.5 hours. You look at it and go, that's the same turkey my mum used to go for 8 hours. Surely it's not going to be cooked, and it's going to be. But it's cooked, and it's kind of. The experience was I would have put it in for a long time because that's what was what I'm doing. And it's not until you read these things that you realize actually times have changed, technology's changed. There's more advice out there to help. And then my brother and his wife come up, join us for Christmas lunch, and they bring a ham.
Oh, nice.
And they over 4 or 5 hours they cook it with I guess the Delia recipe with an onion and a bottle of full fat Coke.
Nice.
And it falls apart, and it's just delicious. That's become like a tradition. So I think every family has food traditions, or maybe not everybody does, but I think a lot of people have traditions they associate with family growing up. And so there's a strong connection between food and family.
And it's really funny for Christmas because that's the time where you are slow cooking your meat. Generally in sort of everyday life where we're all so busy, it's dinner, get that in the oven, chicken for an hour, turkey for a couple of hours, whatever it might be. Then Christmas comes and everyone takes several hours to cook everything. So it just goes to show, I suppose, different mindset, experience. You've got your friends and family around. I remember my family doing a similar thing, putting sort of the turkeys and stuff in the oven for an incredible long time. I assume at a low heat. I'm not saying my mum's turkey wasn't as good as mine. I would never say that on camera. But it's just changed a lot, hasn't it? It's just changed.
Yeah.
So Asia, you mentioned going to traveling, and that was obviously, I guess, quite bold in terms of being quite a plain eater. And then you're going to Asia, which is completely cultural different.
Yeah, I guess naivety. I didn't really thought about it. I wanted to travel. I got a degree in geography. I wanted to go and see the world. So if you want to go and see the world, you have to just take what's on the plate when you get there, kind of thing. Look, I've been to places and lived off rice and cucumber for a few days where everything was too spicy, and actually I didn't die, so that was fine. But I think Asia opened up noodles and rice in different ways. Some sushi, but all of the kind of the Vietnamese noodle type things with stir fries with pork and chicken. All sorts of different spices, soy sauce and stuff, garlic, and just new flavors that I'd never seen in the UK before. And some of them I brought back. We use a lot of soy sauce at home now, and quite a lot of Asian type stuff. We make char siu pork and those types of things. So Chinese spice, but things I probably would never have tasted before I went traveling. So I think, yeah, the world is smaller and gives you so many more opportunities now. You just have to just try and embrace and find something that you like on the menu. I guess for me, adventure in Australia, I had camel sausages.
Oh, wow.
Bear in mind, I don't like sausages, and I wasn't trying to eat camel. I probably wouldn't rush back, but I had 2 camel sausages. I had crocodile. I've eaten one snail, which I didn't particularly enjoy.
Tell by the one.
For me, it was just like a piece of chewy rubber tasting of garlic, and I love garlic, but the chewy was just a bit unnecessary. I went to Tokyo with Grant Thornton, and the Japanese firm took us out a lot for some beautiful menu meals in some beautiful restaurants. And they brought the waiter brought out a snake one evening next to us by the side of the table, and the guy picked it, and clearly I didn't try the snake. There's certain things. If there's I love lobster, but if there's a lobster in a tank and they say that's your lobster and they go and cook it, the association, whilst I know where food comes from, I don't need it in my face before I eat something, so it can change how I am with food. Yeah. But no, it's definitely traveling. I think traveling opens your mind to things that you would never normally do or see. So it's amazing what you'll try when you're hungry. But they were lovely. And it was just something that you did, and you can say, I ate green ants when I was in Australia. So like I'm a celebrity, I tried green ants. It just tastes like a bit of lime, pop in your mouth. It was nothing horrid about it. It's just that mental thing of getting around your head. A message to anyone out there and the kids out there that don't like stuff now: never be afraid to go back and try and revisit stuff, because actually your taste buds change and you can like things later on.
If I did come around to your house, what would you cook me? Starter, main, dessert?
We'd probably start off with some homemade guacamole. with sun-dried tomatoes with some crisps. I won't make the crisps. So I think in terms of the starter, we would do a rocket tomato parma ham, mozzarella salad with a mustard dressing. Just really simple and light with some sourdough bread that be lightly toasted and drizzled with some garlic. Only because you're a chef. And then the main course would be probably chicken tartiflette, which sounds really glamorous, but is new potatoes roasted with some garlic and a little tiny piece of Parma ham, and then adding a kind of creme fraiche sauce with some French cheese, and then chicken breast wrapped in Parma ham on top, which slowly roasts in the oven. So with some green beans, so the green would get on your plate. Then dessert.
Just on my plate.
Yeah, no, I'd probably put a few on mine as well. And then dessert would be probably one of two. Either a lime cheesecake that we'd make, or a pavlova with lots of fresh fruit. So raspberry, strawberries, blueberries, with a dollop of cream on the side.
Sounds great. I will come if your one of two desserts is, we'll make both desserts.
So which one don't you like?
I don't know why. I want both. I don't know why there has to be a choice.
You can have both.
So we spoke a lot today about not just the quality of food, but the connections that sort of brings. Your gran was a little bit of an inspiration for you growing up.
Yeah, my gran was really funny. So she'd come and spend the weekend with us. So she didn't live too far away, but these were days when she'd come and spend the weekend with us as kids growing up. And she'd always come over. She liked to bake. So she'd either make a cake or some sausage rolls. At Christmas, she'd make mince pies. She used to make amazing apple pie. Really light pastry and really soft, gooey, warm, rich apples. And so it was just delicious. And it would come out of the oven and there's just that smell of apple pie with custard, fresh homemade custard was just, real childhood memory.
Well, you had your main, and what we're going to be doing for all of our guests is something that sort of hopefully sparks that memory back. So Anthony's actually been making you an apple pie.
Fantastic. Wow.
Yeah. So additionally, what we do is make a caramel sauce that goes with it as well. So a bit of cinnamon But what I like to do is use eating apples instead of cooking apples. The cooking apples are taking longer to cook, but there's less natural sweetening in them as well, so you need to add more sugar. So eating apples, less added sugar.
I'm going to go for it, but if there's mess on the table, don't blame me, guys. There we go. Sorry about the mess.
No worries, thank you.
You mentioned your grand's apple pie, and it was like a core memory, and you said how good it was. Was it really good, or was it just the memory of your gran cooking it? Was it the experience?
This was really good. The memory of gran coming in and baking something, the expectation which would come with a cake or with a mince pie, whatever. Then when the smell of the apple pie came out of the oven, so it's probably a memory, but it was a really lovely apple pie. Yeah, this is a really lovely apple pie too.
When you paired with like the experience, your gran, that, and the bits that we sort of discuss regularly about is giving children those core positive food memories now, because you're many years later and you're still celebrating. We're here eating apple pie because your gran sort of gave you that emotional connection to it.
And we grow apples in Britain. You can go and pick them with your kids and take them home and turn them into apple pie. So it will create memories. But this is a memory for me.
So let's talk business. So we've done fabulous food. We know sort of family business, and you're absolutely the champion, not a champion, the champion of family businesses. What's the dream moving forward the next few years, and maybe some bits that you're sort of really working on?
Yeah, the dream is to continue to grow. More stories, more things to do, more events around the country, to bring more people together so they get the FBU experience and that value of being part of a peer community. It is challenging at the moment. Running a business full stop is challenging with all the things that are going on, costs, the economic climate, tariffs, the global kind of climate too. Changing the budget around succession planning, APR, BPR haven't helped. As we all know, there were no liquidity events when someone dies. So to suddenly find a big chunk of cash to pay in inheritance tax liabilities, changing the way people think, it's changing investments decisions. An organisation like yours with 800 staff, national insurance increases, a massive increase on the bottom line. So it's tough. It's tough for all businesses. It's tough for family businesses too in terms of what they do. So we will continue to share best practice and ideas and try and work with businesses and help them do the best they can to make the most and continue to flourish for generations to come. We want people to engage and then realise that actually they're not alone. They can talk to their peers. They can talk to people that will help them. And it becomes a positive experience. So for us, it's about creating positive experiences with other family businesses.
And we've spoken about your conferences that you do and your road trips you do. And I can't let you leave here without telling us about the fabulous awards event that you host every year.
Yeah, the National Family Business of the Year Awards, we launched them back in 2012, deliberately to bring family business together to celebrate and recognise good achievements, big or small, first generation or multi-generation. We have a panel of judges that do the deliberations, but it's all based on the authenticity of the submission and the reality of what actually that family business stands for, its purpose, its values, its governance, and its story. And they come together every year, and it's a real celebration of the best of British family firms. It's not about sitting down having dinner. It's more of a garden party. Sort of a garden party meets your best friend's wedding.
You're going to need a bigger venue soon.
We've just moved this year actually to a bigger venue because of we outgrew the last one.
And the magazine
Prints once a year, but there's live content every day published on the website, so people can read articles about other family businesses or the challenges they face on succession or legacy, governance, all sorts of things. Families just need to broaden their agenda and make sure they've got the right pieces of information around to help them with that agenda. So yeah, we publish every day.
And any family business that sees this, I urge you, contact Paul. It's a fabulous community to be a part of. Thank you for that. Appreciate you.
Thanks, mate.
So, Paul, before we let you go, we've got a couple more bits for you. So I'll ask you 21 questions. Don't even think about it. All food related.
This is like a tennis rally.
Absolutely like a tennis rally. You ready?
Yep.
Favourite hot drink?
Coffee.
Favourite cold drink?
Water.
Favourite pizza topping?
Controversial to Hawaiian.
Favourite breakfast?
Poached eggs.
Favourite midnight snack?
Don't have midnight snacks.
Favourite childhood meal?
Probably Christmas dinner.
Favourite cuisine?
Italian.
Favourite type of pasta?
Penne.
Favourite ice cream flavour?
Vanilla.
Favourite thing to cook for others?
Char siu pork.
Your guilty pleasure food?
Cheese.
Favourite barbecue food?
Chicken.
Favourite fruit?
Strawberry.
Favourite vegetable?
Potato.
Actually, sweet potato and apple pie. Favourite kind of cheese?
That's hard. Love cheese. Red Leicester.
Favourite dessert?
Trifle.
Favourite sandwich?
Avocado and chicken.
Favourite type of egg?
Poached.
Favourite potato?
For roast.
Favourite topping for toast?
Marmite.
If you could only have one dish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Big bowl of pasta.
And that's the quickfire 21, which got your brain going.
There's a lot of Italian pasta and pizza in there, wasn't there?
Oh, but listen, that's what it's about. So, Paul, before we let you go, I want to ask you one question. So we have a book that we have made, and within here, we're going to get every single guest to write one bit of advice to themselves that they would have given when they were younger. What's your message going to be?
I think it's quite simple, really. It's be more food adventurous. So just recognise that actually tastes change, and just because you didn't like it when you were little doesn't mean you're not going to like something now. But yeah, be more food adventurous.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Andrews. Thanks so much, Paul. Thank you, thank you. That's a wrap, guys. Apple pie, come on over. There's lots here.
It is delicious.